So, Jules, you've got to choose your chicken, and there are lots out there. And what you've got to think about is what you want them for, really.
Well, the options are endless. Looking around me in here, we've got every size and shape and colour going. This is fabulous. What have we got on your knee?
This is a Chamois Poland with the frizzle gene in, so she's got frizzled feathers.
It's hard to know which is the front and which is the back, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I have to say they are visually impaired because of these top knots. Particularly with this breed, she's okay in here because we're in here, but I keep them to their own. Other birds will bully them because they're not the quickest.
But what should we be looking for when we're selecting our chicken?
The main thing is health, and I would say, first of all, it's got to be a healthy chicken. I would suggest to people that they go somewhere that is helpful and that they're going to have help in the future, because you do have problems and questions. So always make sure they're willing to give you their telephone number and offer support afterwards.
Yeah, a bit of aftercare.
Yeah, absolutely. If people are selling animals, then they should be there on the end of the phone if you need a hand. I have lots of people come here, well, it was just given to me in a cardboard box. Look at their surroundings, make sure it's clean and tidy and you like what you see, and that they're happy for you to handle their birds. You should be able to check them over with them. If you don't know what you're looking for, they should. So she's probably not the best one to show us on, but if we grab one where you can see their heads.
Which is one of these?
Yeah, she's a good one. Let's. So
you always make that look so effortless, Susie, grabbing chickens. So, beautiful colouring on this one.
This is a silver lace Wyandotte. When you're looking for your birds, the first thing you should be looking at is their face, and they should have lovely clear eyes, nothing coming out of them. Never should they have anything coming out of those nostrils, nice and dry.
Yeah.
Another tip is just to gently push there, and if they've got any mucus in there, which can be from an infection, it'll make the eyes bobble.
Okay.
And it'll come out of the eyes. They should have nice, clean combs. Depending on the age, they should be nice and red. When you're buying point of lay, they can be slightly pink, and that's perfectly natural.
What do you mean by point of lay? Point
of lay is anything from 18 weeks to 23, depending on the time of year before they lay. So they're kind of in their teenage years, developing and maturing. Yeah. And it's okay then for them to be quite pink. But otherwise, you want a nice red comb, certainly upright. Some people, they'll say, oh, well, I went for it because it was sat in the corner. That's never a good sign for a chicken to be sat in the corner, ever. The other thing you should be looking at is a nice clean bum. They should have lovely clean bums. A little bit of poo's okay, you know, it happens occasionally, but what you don't want is big bold areas and eggs. They can suffer from things called lice, which are very easy to get rid of, but you don't want them if you're buying a bird. And they lay their eggs at the base of the feathers, which can make it all white and cloudy. You don't want that. The other thing you need to look at is nice, clean, smooth legs. Obviously mud's fine, but all the scales should be going one way.
Because there is a disease, isn't there?
It's called scaly leg.
Scaly leg,
and it makes the scales come up and crust. The little mites burrow into the legs and irritate the birds immensely. And it's quite difficult to get rid of once you've got it. You need to change your land and do a lot of work. So if you're buying a chicken, you don't want it.
So head, bottom, feet.
Yeah.
And overall condition?
If they've got lovely clean feathers and then alert, it's a very good sign. And also just sit for a while. Don't be rushed, sit and listen. There should be no sneezing.
Chickens sneeze?
Chickens sneeze, and it's one of the first signs of something called mycoplasma.
I had no idea.
Which is very common with chickens. A lot of the time it's brought in by wild birds. Yeah. If not, you can bring it in through an infected chicken. It's like a cold to you and I, but the problems arise when secondary infections take hold, normally respiratory problems.
So the key things I'm going to take away from this conversation: where is it coming from? Who's trying to sell me this bird?
Yes.
And why? And are they going to look after me when I take it home and I've got a few problems?
Yeah, because problems do happen. You can do everything right and you can have a problem, and you need somebody there to help you out.
But I presume one of the other key factors to consider is where you're going to keep them, because not everybody's got acres. Of course, many chickens now are kept in towns and cities.
If you have a very small area to give to your birds, then choose a smaller breed. They lay smaller eggs, but they're still a really good quality. And the bird's quality of life and your quality of life is much more important than a large egg. The hybrids are fantastic egg layers, but they do need space. They're very active birds. Whereas something like the little Pekings, they have fluffy feet so they don't damage your garden quite as much. They're not huge scratchers and they don't need as much space. Yeah. But they do lovely little eggs.
Now the numbers of breeds are, it seems, endless. What have we got around us?
Right, you've got The white girl there with the funny head and this little grey cuckoo, they're silkies. They're really lovely. The little one here is a Peking, and they come in an array of colours. They have lovely fluffy feet, and they're like the Charlie Chaplin of the chicken world if you watch them walk. Great for small gardens. You've got Fizz over there.
Yes, you've already introduced one of those. I think they're terrific.
Yeah,
they're like poodles, aren't they?
Toilet brushes, my husband says, but yeah, they are. They're great characters. They're Polands. She's a Shamos Poland with a frizzle gene in.
Something very tactile about it, isn't it? This sort of lovely, cuddly fuzz.
Yeah,
and fluff.
it is nice. I would say in wet weather conditions, it's important that they don't get wet because of their headpieces.
Beautiful.
They're very mellow birds.
Aren't they?
Yeah,
very cool.
they're nice.
Yeah. And how old would this bird be, for example?
Fizz is actually coming up 5 this year, 4, 5.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
be her 5th year at the end of this year. She's part of the furniture here. She's lovely.
Right then, you can go down there. And then what else have we got behind us? This is a beautiful
This
colour.
is stunning bird. This is a gold-laced Brahma, a young bird.
Yeah.
She's got feathery feet, needs trimming back and keeping in dry runs in wet weather. But saying that, because she's so big, she's quite weighty and she's not flighty, so she doesn't fly at all. They run.
That is also something to consider, I suppose, whether or not your run is going to be relatively dry or not, and how much space you've got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to take all of this into account before getting your chickens. We've got a beautiful silver-laced Wyandotte over there, stunning birds. They're nice girls. None of these pure breeds lay you as many eggs as a hybrid, but certainly the smaller ones are much better for smaller gardens.
What's the attraction of a pure breed, though, like this? Is it design, is it colour, is it character, over functionality of a hybrid?
Definitely, because they do not lay you as many eggs as the hybrid and never will. A lot of it is a bit of snobbery, and because they eat all the flowers in your garden, they are your walking flowers.
So they bring colour with them?
They do, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
and different characters. These girls, the Silkies, are just renowned for being great mums. All they want to do is hatch and rear chicks. They love it. That's my favourite breed of all that nobody likes, and that's the Transylvanian naked-necked chicken.
Aptly
named. It
named.
is supposed to be like that.
If I just wanted a chicken for laying eggs, would I be going for a hybrid?
Yes, I think you would. Certainly to start with.
And how many eggs would I expect my average chicken to produce a year?
The hybrids average 260 to 280 eggs a year, with the white Leghorns topping 300 large white eggs a year.
That's a huge amount of eggs.
It's a lot of eggs. But then people do sell their eggs, which help cover the cost of their feed and things.
Yeah. But if we went for something a little more exotic, say, what would I expect, say, from our lovely frizzled
Probably
chicken?
140, 120, 140 eggs from her maximum, depending on whether she goes broody, which pure breed chickens go broody. They stop laying, they'll lay a clutch if you don't collect them, and then they'll want to hatch them.
So as a rough rule of thumb then, the pure breeds, perhaps 50% less eggs than a hybrid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And smaller. Remember, if you're going for bantams, they're much smaller eggs.
Is it possible to mix up these pure breeds with hybrids?
I wouldn't do it unless you've got a huge amount of space where they can get away and hide. The problem with these little girls here is when you're with a hybrid that's 3 times the size, one peck is like a sledgehammer and it can do quite a bit of damage in a very short amount of time.
We talk about the pecking order, but it is something that you must have to consider all the time when thinking about types of chicken, types of housing for them, how you introduce them, and mixing up, you know, pure breeds and hybrids as well.
Yeah, definitely. The pecking order is challenged every day, even within an established flock. You know, everybody pushes their luck, even in our life. But you will have one top girl who keeps everybody in order.
So when's the best time to introduce a new chicken?
At night.
At night?
When your girls are in bed asleep. The best thing I can advise people to do is red mite your original girls for the smell, red mite the new girls so they all smell the same, pop them into bed at night, they do nothing, close the pop hole and forget about them, and move your feeder and drinker around, maybe pop some logs in and just make everything a bit different, so that your original girls come out and not only think they're new girls, they also think, oh, where's the feeder, where's the drinker, and the competition isn't quite there. They have to re-establish that pecking order, and there will be arguments, but it's usually just handbags. I think a lot of people make the mistake of introducing chickens, doing everything right, but then not being able to cope with a few arguments. And you really do have to sit back and just let them establish that pecking order. They're great characters. They're very easy and they're not a problem to keep. You just got to look after them and follow a few basic rules, really.